Welcome guys, it is round 1 of 6 of the premier event here for SARCO. We're in the Aston Martin Vantage GTE at 520 horsepower with traction control and ABS available. 22 drivers have entered, and unfortunately we did lose some at the start, but 2 weeks ago we held a practice race and we have split the drivers accordingly into a Pool A and Pool B. The points will be allocated across both Pools A and B, and we'll be looking at the total time to find out your position. So sit back and enjoy the highlights of both Pool A and B. So if I look at the starting lineup here in Pool A, 10 drivers line up for the beginning of this round number 1 here at Road America. On row 5 we have in 10th place Louis from Tosco. He's driving in car number 48 and he's alongside Craig. Craig drives off in 36, starting in 9th position. Up to row number 4 we go, and in 8th place we have Gerard. He also drives for Tosco. He's in car number 47 and he is alongside the 7th place Duppy from TTR. Duppy, he will be driving in car number 83. Up to row number 3 we go, and in his famous 6th place Andrew, he's in car number 76 for the Mumbers, and he is alongside Ross, our Scottish international. Ross is in car number 23, Ross starting in 5th place. Row number 2 in 4th place Morris. Morris is in car number 43 representing White Knuckle Racing. He puts himself next to our GTO champion Bruno. He's in 3rd place driving in car number 95. Row number 1, and in 2nd place we see Jakes. He's driving in the colours of the Mumbers. He's taking Dylan's place in the interim while Dylan gets his internet sorted out. Jakes will be driving in car number 75, and he is alongside the newcomer to the series, Charles, who enters in his first SARCO championship. Charles will be in car number 80 and he'll be leading us off in pole position. 3 red lights, green lights, and off they go. The drivers are heading down the Road America main straight, preparing themselves and finding that braking zone as they go into turn number 1. That's Ross and Morris, they touch. That's Ross into Bruno, Morris into Charles, Jakes into Morris, Dupe into Gerard, Andrew into Bruno, Bruno into Gerard, Craig into Andrew, Gerard into Jakes, Craig hits Bruno, and down going into turn number 3 in the route, so we see that's Louis. He's come from 10th place into 1st. Just have a look here at Louis as he jumps the line, so he gets 1 place. He overtakes Craig straight off the line. He then moves up, goes past Dupe, tucks in behind Gerard, moves on to the outside, sees the contact between Ross and Marius. Then all of a sudden it's the parting of the Red Sea, and off he goes all the way from 10th up to 1st position. We catch up with our race leader Louis, car number 48, as he goes through turn number 3, completely avoiding all that mayhem as he goes under the bridge here at turn number 4, starts preparing as he heads down the hill to go into turn number 5. Extremely long straight, hard on the brakes, and he's safely around turn number 5 as he goes back up the hill, prepares himself for that turn number 6. It's a bright horizon going over that corner through the apex. Quite tricky little corner as he sets himself as he goes through turn number 7. Down Harry Downs and prepares for turn number 8. Louis had an absolutely fantastic start, jumped 2 places coming off the line, completely avoiding all that mayhem as he now comes around the carousel in turn number 10. Tricky little section as you go through the kink. This thing definitely catch you out later on in the race once those tires start wearing. Through Kettle Bottoms, hard on the brakes into turn number 12. Around Thunder Valley. And through Bill Mitchell Bend. Into the last corner here, turn number 14. And prepares himself up for that main straight as he prepares to cross the line to begin his lap number 2. We jump to Duppy, he's currently in third place as he peels off and he goes into the pits. We have a quick little look back just to see who else is going to be following after that first lap carnage. We see that Ross and Marius, both of them, they've come in to get some damage repaired after that first corner mayhem. Yeah, we chase Charles currently in 7th place, our pole sitter, fortunately being taken out by Marius going into turn number 1. We have a look at the positions. So Louis, he leads ahead of Andrew. Oh, big lock up there by Jakes as he was coming through turn number 3. Those positions is Louis leads, Andrew 2nd, Gerard he's in 3rd, Bruno is 4th, Craig 5th, Jake 6th, Charles he's in 7th, Duppy is down in 8th, Marius and Ross, the 3 of them going into the pits to repair damage after turn number 1. Here we jump trackside as the guys head out of the carousel. That's Craig in car number 36. He's putting pressure on Gerard as they prepare for the kink. To the kick they go. Well, that's Craig. He's put it on the grass. He's put himself straight into the wall. That's allowed both Jakes and Scholl to move up a position. Craig now drops down 2 positions as they head into turn number 12. Here we catch up the action halfway through lap number 2. As we have Gerard and Craig as they exit out of the carousel and prepare for the kink. Craig putting a lot of pressure on Gerard as they prepare for the kink. Well, that's Craig, he's touched the grass, he's put himself off. That's allowed Jakes, he's moved himself up into 5th place. We see Charles, he's come through, he's moved up into 6th, so that means Craig is, oh, that's Gerard, he's gone a bit hot into turn number 12. That's allowed both Jakes and Charles to move up. Jakes moves himself to 4th, Charles is up to 5th, and that's unfortunately left Gerard down in 6th place and Craig in 7th. Through turn 14. Oh, Craig, he's lost the rear, he's unfortunately spun. That's put him off the track as we see both Charles and Gerard, they peel off and they enter the pits to repair some of the damage after that turn 1 incident. We're halfway through lap number 3 and we see in the background there, that's Andrew, he's starting to make way here on Louis. Bruno's right behind Andrew. Well, Louis, he's touched the inside curb coming out of the carousel. That's put him straight into the wall. Andrew, he's moved up to 1st place. That's Bruno, he's gone up to 2nd. Louis down to 3rd. We see that's Jakes. He's now coming extremely fast, coming through the kink there, and he pulls out right at the end there, giving Louis that space, realizing that it's extremely dangerous to make that move as they head through Kettle's bottom and prepare for turn number 12. Will Jakes have a look on the inside there? No, he does not. Through turn 12, Jakes will run a little bit wide there, allowing Louis to get a little bit further away as they go through Thunder Valley. Oh, Louis, he's gone wide. That will have Jakes will have a look on the inside. No, he doesn't. Jakes pulls out right at the moment there, but I think Jakes will have the run here on Louis. Side by side as they head back up the hill on Road America straight. They will cross the line together. We'll have a look at the positions. So Andrew, he's our new race leader on lap number 4. Bruno is 2nd. Jakes has moved himself into 3rd place. All that's Louis losing it going into the braking zone there into turn number 1. He'll rejoin in 4th place. Duppy, he's still in 5th. That is Charles, he's moved himself up into 6th. Marius, he's in 7th. Gerard is down in 8th. Ross is 9th, and Craig unfortunately disconnected. We jump to the front of the pack, our new race leader Andrew, as he heads down the hill to go into turn number 5. Oh, Andrew's got a little bit wide, he's lost the rear. Bruno, he's moved himself up into 1st place. Andrew's down to 2nd as they go under the bridge and make their way for turn number 6. Big mistake there from Andrew, giving the lead to Bruno. Andrew's definitely have his work cut out here to try and get Bruno back in. To the front of the pack, we see in shot Bruno, our race leader, having a quick look at the positions as he crosses line to begin lap number 6. Bruno leads with Andrew 3 seconds behind him, followed by Jake, who's 5 seconds further behind. Duppy, he's currently in 4th place. Charles starting to make moves as he up into 5th. Morris, he's in 6th place, followed by Louis down in 7th. Louis was leading this race in lap number 3. Ross, he's in 8th place, and we have lost both Gerard and Craig. Here we chase Duppy currently on lap number 8. Duppy is in car number 83, driving for TTR. We can see as he comes through the kink, we can see Charles, he now has just come through the kink. Charles currently doing a second a lap quicker than Duppy. I think it'll only be a matter of time that Charles will catch up to Duppy and take away this position. In shot, we have Andrew currently in 1st place with Bruno in 2nd as they come down into turn number 8. Great overtake there by Bruno. Andrew leaving that door wide open for him as they turn into number 9 through the carousel. Round number 10, getting that power on as early as you can. You want to carry as much of your straight line speed, setting yourself up for the kink. Definitely a flat out corner, but there are times where you do want to rather take a bit of a cautious route, but if you've got somebody behind you, keep that power on. Hard on the brakes into turn number 12, also known as Canada Corner. Will Andrew run himself a little bit wide? That's going to ruin some of his momentum as they go through 13. Bruno's definitely pulled himself a little bit of a gap away from Andrew, exiting out of turn number 14 and putting himself back on the Road America straight. In shot, we have Duppy and Scholl. They begun their 11th lap. Going into turn number 1. Just remembering the incident happening on turn number 1 where 9 of the 10 drivers that went through that corner on turn number 1 were all affected. Scholl, he landed up rejoining that track after the first incident in 10th place. He's moved himself all the way up to 5th. He's now putting pressure here on Duppy. Duppy currently in 4th place. Ahead of him, you see in shot there was that car number 23 of Ross. Ross will be lapped by these 2 drivers. Into turn number 5, they go up the little hill into prepare for turn number 6 as they go through Corvette Corner. The fast little kick here in turn number 7, and then down, hurries down. Shaw running a little bit wide there, taking some of the dirt with him as he prepares turn number 8. Shaw starting to get himself into striking distance here on Duppy as they go into turn 9. Duppy seems to run himself a little bit wide. He would have had to come off the power there. Shaw's got the much tighter line. He'll be able to get the speed on coming out of carousel. Tucking nice behind him as he goes through the kink. Through Kendall's bottom and preparing for turn number 12. Shaw just a little bit too far away to make the move here on Duppy. Down Thunder Valley into turn number 13. Then hard on the brakes into 14. Shaw looking to get a good exit here, tucking up behind Duppy to take that slipstream and hopefully get the place before the end of turn number 1. We're on board with Shaw as he's approaching Duppy, car number 83. Shaw moves to the inside, sets himself up for turn number 1. Duppy's not letting this place go without a fight. He goes on the outside line. Shaw concedes, but he then gets his power back on. Goes through turn number 2, has another look here coming to turn number 3. Duppy here, unfortunately, he loses that position. Shaw, he's up to 3rd place. Duppy down to 4th. Our race leader Bruno currently at the end of lap number 12. He'll break away, he will pit for the first time. There in the background we see Andrew, he's just come around turn number 14. Andrew will take the lead. This is about the 3rd time that Andrew's led this race. We'll have a quick look at what's happening in the positions. Andrew's in 1st, Bruno is in 2nd. Shaw will close the gap on him and take that place as Bruno's still in the pits. Duppy, he's in 4th, Morris 5th, Jake's down in 6th place. Jakes must have had a pit stop. Ross is in 7th and Louis currently in 8th place. In shot, our race leader coming to the end of lap number 16. Andrew, he will break away. He will go into the pits for this mandatory pit stop. We can see in the background there's Charles. He's already pitted. Charles, he will cross the line to begin his 17th lap in first position. He had put in all the hard work. He had led from pole position going into turn 1, was taken out, rejoined the race in 10th place, has put in the consistent laps, and he has moved himself up into first place. Then we see Bruno, he's currently in 3rd place, followed by Morris in 4th. Morris tucks in behind Bruno. Bruno goes defensive. Morris will get the run on Bruno here, going around the outside, preparing for turn number 1. Morris allows a bit of space there for Bruno. Morris has made that move stick, going into turn number 1. Bruno has a look in turn number 3, but no, Morris is too far away. Morris will hold that place, and Bruno will drop down to 3rd. Yeah, we chase Bruno as he crosses the line to begin his last lap. We see Morris ahead there. He's just lapped Ross here in the yellow car number 23. Bruno, he accelerates going into turn number 1. Bruno has lost the rear. He's put himself in the wall. Starting to make progress there on Morris. Morris currently in 2nd place. In shot we have Andrew. He now comes around turn number 1. See Bruno there. He's now rejoined the track. Andrew, he will take that 3rd place away from Bruno as the guys head into turn number 3. Bruno making that mistake, dropping down into 4th place. And there's Jakes in the mix. This is the battle here for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Through the little turn number 4 they go down the hill, hard on the brakes into turn number 5. Andrew currently in 3rd. Bruno still in 4th place. Over the little rise in there into turn number 6. Through 7. Down Harry's down. Bruno, he's run himself wide. That will give Andrew a little bit of a breather coming into turn number 8. But Bruno seems to have got the power on very, very quickly there into turn number 9. Around Carousel. Out of 10. Will Bruno have the slipstream here going through the kink? Sound like a little bit of a tap off there by Andrew as they go through Kettle's bottom. Hoddle breaks into turn 12. Well, Andrew's run himself a little bit wide. Bruno's kept the power on. Bruno's been able to take the overtake. Going through 13. Into 14 they go. Andrew Hughes run himself a little bit wide again. Oh, that's Andrew. He's gone off the track. He's had to defend Jakes. Looks like he'll hold that position. Racing down to the start finish and across the line. Andrew, he will hold that place. Shot of our race winner, Charles. Started from pole, was knocked off at turn number 1, rejoined the race in 10th place. He moved himself up into first to win right at the end here. Charles will win, Morris will finish 2nd, Bruno will finish 3rd, Andrew 4th, Jakes 5th, Duppy will come home in 6th, Ross 7th, Louis here unfortunately will retire, and both Carrot and Craig will disconnect. Let's see what happened in the second pool so we can see exactly who finished where. Now that we've got the Pool A guys out of the way, we now have a look to see what happened here in Pool 2. We have 4 new drivers that have joined the series. They've joined us here in Pool B. The starting lineup looks like row number 5. We have in 10th place Toki. Toki's driving in car number 92. He's alongside a newcomer Sean. Sean's in 9th place and he'll be driving in car number 95. Row number 4, and in 8th place we have Memo. Memo will be in car number 32. And our Greek international lines up next to Dane, our newcomer to the series. Dane starts in 7th position and he'll be driving in car number 81. Row number 3, 6th place, we have Roy. Roy will start the series in car number 37 and he is alongside Dirk from Tosco. Dirk will start in 5th place, driving car number 36. Row number 2, newcomer Clive. Clive's currently in 4th place on the grid and he'll be in the car number 93 for this championship. And Clive, he lines up against the TTO racer from our previous championships, Jacques. Jacques starts off in 3rd and he'll be in car 84 for this series. Row number 1 and newcomer Rudy, he returns back to Project Cars. Rudy, he will be starting in 2nd place on the grid and taking up car number 55 for this championship. Rudy, he's alongside our pole sitter Colin. Colin will be in car 31 for this championship. I'm sure he's really looking to get things underway. As we wait for those lights to turn green. Green lights and off they go, and Colin, he's had an amazing start jumping off the line, pulling away from Rudy in 2nd place. The guys start to hustle for positions as they prepare to go into turn number 1. Everybody seems to be giving each other space. Oh, Rudy got a little bit sideways there, going on to the brakes. Well, that's Rudy, he's spun, he's lost it into turn number 1. In shot we have Jacques currently in 2nd place. He's followed by Clive and Roy in 4th. As they head down the hill to go into turn number 5, Roy has a little look in the inside. Oh, Jacques left the door wide open. Well, a little bit of bumping there as they come out of turn number 5, and that allows Dirk. Dirk moves himself up 3 places. Jacques still fighting to get on the track there. Roy holds that inside line for Clive, and Clive moves out the way, allows Roy to get that place. That was a really brave move there by Roy. Here we chase Toki, he's moved himself up into 6th place. That's Roy having a look on the inside and getting that position from Dirk. And unfortunately Dirk, he clips Toki going into turn number 3. And that allows Memo to move up. Toki drops back down to 7th position. We chase Memo as they go into turn number 7. Well, that Jacques, he's run himself wide again. Run himself off the track. Cloud followed him in car number 93. Memo, he moves himself up into 5th place as they go through turn number 8. Preparing themselves to go through the carousel here at 9. Winding up now, power on, tightens up that nose. Remember, we'll be looking to get a slipstream here, going through this kink. Little break there by Cloud. This is a flat out corner. You need to just believe that the car is going to hold. Through Kettle's bottom. Hard on the brakes here into turn number 12. Or flames flying. Round 12, Canada corner. They then go through Thunder Valley into turn 13. This too flat out corner. We definitely need to use the entire track here to get as much speed as possible. Around turn 14, back onto the Road America straight. In shot, our race leader Colin as he goes into turn number 1. We have a quick look at what's happening in the positions. Colin is 1st, followed by Dirk in 2nd. Roy is up to 3rd. Clive is 4th. Memo 5th. Rudy, he's down in 6th after that first corner incident. Sean, he's currently in 7th. Jacques is all the way down in 8th. Dane is in 9th place. Oh, Toki, he's made a move up on Dane. Toki's moved himself to 9th and Dane 10th position. In shot we see Clive, he's coming through turn number 8. Clive representing Zeta Racing here in this series. As Clive goes through turn number 9, oh, that's Roy in the background. He's run himself wide, going through the carousel, rejoins the track. Clive is able to move himself up. Clive now puts himself into 3rd place. Roy drops down to 4th. In the background there we see Memo. He's going to start putting pressure on Roy. Memo currently circulating in 5th place. In shot we see Jacques, lap number 2. He's put himself into the pits. You can see the front bumper looking a little worse for wear there. I'm sure he'll be going in to make some repairs. We jump on board with Memo as he approaches turn number 12, also known as Canada corner. Very smooth through that corner 12 as it goes through Thunder Valley into turn number 13. Roy running a little bit wide there, making every bit of that track. It seems that, well, bit of an oversteer there by Memo. Roy seems to be making some headway on Clive there. Clive looked a little bit slow through that final sector. I wonder if Roy will be able to make a run on him coming into turn number 1. There we see Clive and Roy going past, and we see Jacques coming out of the pits now. Into turn number 1 they go. Roy is definitely starting to close this gap here on Clive. I'm sure he'll either set himself up for turn number 5. Around turn 3. Very long straight here. You want to be able to get as much speed as you can coming out of that turn number 3. Get as much straight line speed. Remember, on lap number 1, Roy had an amazing pass here going into this turn number 5. Fortunately, a little bit too far away, but Clive, he's put the power on a little bit too soon. He's oversteered going into turn 5. Pretty comfortable coming out of 6 through 7 they go. Down Hurry Downs. Very tight line there by Roy. Into turn 9 to go. Much tighter line there by Roy. I think he might have the run coming out of 10 here, preparing for the kink. Will Clive tap off? Oh, Roy has run himself very wide there. That's going to allow Clive to get away. In shot, our race leader Colin. Lap number 4, he's had a very uneventful race up front here all by himself. The positions are Colin's first, followed by Dirk in second. Clive and Roy still battling there in third and fourth. Memo just starting to lose back a little bit there. Rudy, he's starting to gather some momentum. I'm sure he'll be putting pressure on Memo quite soon. Sean, he's down in 7th place, followed by Dane in 8th. Toki, he's in 9th, and Jacques currently in 10th place. Back to this battle here for 3rd and 4th. Roy hits the curb, spins up that rear wheel. Roy still putting pressure here on Clive. Coming near the end of lap number 4. Through the kink. A lot neater this time by both the drivers. Through Kettle's bottom. And hard on this braking zone here in turn number 12. Everything's still very neat and tidy as I come around Thunder Valley into turn number 13, also known as Bill Mitchell's Bend. Roy just touching a little bit of that outside curb, running out of turn number 14, and unfortunately he will lose that momentum to put pressure here on Clive coming to the end of lap number 4. In shot we have Rudy. He's coming down into turn number 5. Whoa, big oversteer there. Almost did a replay of what had happened in his turn number 1, but Rudy started making some progress on Memo. He has closed the gap down to 4 seconds, and that unfortunately has just extended that gap once again, so he'll have to find those 2 seconds all over again. In shot, our 2nd place man Dirk as he comes into turn number 8. Well, ran a little bit wide there coming into 8. Into turn 9, the carousel, very fast, tricky section. Oh, Dirk has run himself wide. Whoa, big Tokyo drift style catch there. What that's going to do, however, that's going to allow both Clive and Roy to catch up to Dirk. Start adding some pressure. There we can see in the background, both Clive and Roy are right up here in the mix. As Dirk goes into the kink. Looks like Clive got a great run on him. Setting up for turn number 12. A little bit of a power slide there by Dirk. Coming out of 12 through 13. Oh, Dirk runs a little bit wide there. into 14. We go on board with Clive as they come around the Road America straight. Cross the line to begin lap at number 6. Big braking section here going into turn number 1. Fortunately, Clive's run himself a little bit wide, a little bit of oversteer. Dirk, he's run wide, put it on the dirt, and that's allowed Clive to get ever so closer. Right turn number 3. Oh, oversteer again there by Clive. He would have wanted a much cleaner getaway out of that corner to really tuck in behind Dirk here, get as much speed coming down this long straight and into this hard downhill braking section into turn 5. Very neat there by Clive. You can see, oh, big oversteer again there. Clive's definitely fighting with this car. Clive's run himself wide on that runoff area through turn 7, down Harry Downs, hard on the brakes into turn 8. You'll need to keep it nice and tidy here. Oversteer again there by Clive into turn 9, the section known as the carousel. Great line there by Clive. He's put the power on. He's put himself right up behind Dirk. What will he do going through the kink? Touches that runoff, makes the car a little bit unstable. We'll have a look on the inside here going into 12. No, he backs out a little. Dirk oversteers. That's put him into the wall. There we see Dirk rejoining the track. That's Jacques will go past him. Jacques, unfortunately, he was a lap down, so that won't be a position. In shot, our race leader Colin, he's still way ahead here in front. As he goes into turn number 6, we have a quick look at what's happening in the positions. Colin, he leads. Clive, he's currently in second, still followed very closely by Roy. Dirk, he's down to 4th after that little mistake going into turn number 12. Memo, he's still in a very solid 5th place, followed by Sean in 6th. Dane in 7th. Rudy, he's down in 8th place. Tok, he's in 9th, and Jacques, he's back in 10th position. We're on lap 7 and this battle for 2nd place is still very much on. Oh, there's Clive, he's run himself a little bit wide. He's touched the grass. Big save there by Clive, but that's allowed Roy to get right up behind him. Well, Clive's run himself wide once again, feeling the pressure from Roy. Roy will go around the outside. Roy now moves himself up to 2nd place, and Clive, unfortunately, he drops down to 3rd. Coming through lap number 7, we see Torquay, he's there retired in the pits. And we have in shot Dirk coming in for a pit. I do believe it's probably to get some tyres on and repair some damage. At the beginning of lap number 9, we see Clive, he's chasing Roy very hard, coming down the Road America straight. Clive moves himself to the inside. He's able to take the position away from Roy into this braking zone. But unfortunately, Clive's run himself a little bit too hot. That allows Roy to take the position back from Clive and retain that 2nd position. Trackside, and we have Dirk in picture. He's approaching Sean here, coming into turn number 12. Dirk had a great run coming through the Ketzel's bottom there. Dirk's really putting pressure on Sean as they go through 13. Oh, unfortunately, Dirk, he's clipped Sean going out of 13. See, Dirk, he's slowed down, just showing a bit of sportsmanship, realizing that he did make the mistake. There we see coming around the back there, that's Rudy. Rudy, he joins the track. Oh, he clips Dirk, and unfortunately he sends Dirk off. Sean rejoins the track. That's currently Sean, he goes into the pits, and that allows Rudy, he'll go and he'll take 5th place. It shot our race leader Colin, he goes into the pits. Colin is still leading here on lap number 10. He's followed by Clive in 2nd place. Memo's up to 3rd. Roy currently in 4th, having taken a pit. Rudy's in 5th. Dirk is down in 6th place. Dane, he's in 7th. Sean's in 8th. Jacques in 9th, with Torquay having retired. third place driver. Memo, he pulls into the pits to take his mandatory pit stop. We'll just jump to Roy. Roy currently in fourth place, having already pitted. Here we see Roy coming out of turn number 13, preparing for turn 14. Both Clive and Memo in the pits. We'll just stay in shot as we watch Roy come up over the hill here on the Road America straight. Roy will move him past Memo and come out in third place behind Clive. Further down the field, coming out of the carousel, we have Dirk currently in fifth place, followed by in shot Rudy, as they set themselves up to go through the kink. Rudy's had a great exit coming out of the carousel, pulling those meters on Dirk. Oh, Dirk gets it a little bit sideways as he hit that runoff area. Rudy moves himself to the inside, hard on the brakes here at turn number 12. Dirk still on the inside line. Well, they get extremely close, almost touching there. Through turn number 13. Hard on the brakes here into 14. Will Rudy be able to get the slipstream on Dirk and prepare an overtake going into turn number 1? Great shot of the two drivers coming up over that hill. It seems Dirk, he got a great run coming out of turn number 14, and he unfortunately has not allowed Rudy to make any progress. On board with Rudy as they go into turn number 1. Oh, Dirk, he's got extremely wide. He's braked on the outside runoff. That's unfortunately unstabilized that car, and that's put him off the track. Here we drive on board with our race leader. He's coming down into turn number 5. Colin has had an amazing race. Hasn't put a foot wrong. Just a recap on what's happened, the positions. Oh, as we see, that was Sean unfortunately losing the rear coming through turn number 5. The positions are Collins in first, Clive is second, Roy is third, Memo is in fourth, Rudy fifth, Dirk is down in 6th place, Jacques making his way up, he's in 7th, Sean is in 8th, and Dane 9th place. Here we're currently chasing Memo, he's in 4th place. As he comes out of the carousel, we take a look behind. We can see Rudy, he's 2 seconds behind Memo. And just coming out the carousel there, we saw Dirk, he's a further 2 seconds behind Rudy. So this race for 4th, 5th and 6th is definitely going to be interesting in the next couple of laps. On lap number 16 here we chase Rudy. He's got Memo in front of him. Memo is currently in 4th place as they go into turn number 8. Around turn number 9, through the carousel. Rudy's got a much better line here. He'll get more speed coming out of this that exit there, setting himself up for the kink. Memo running a little bit wide. He's gone into the grass. Whoa, big save there by Memo. I think Rudy saw it coming, came off the power. Will Rudy have a look on the inside? No, he doesn't. He allows Memo the space. Memo unfortunately runs a little bit wide, a little bit of oversteer coming out of that turn number 12. Around 13. Late on the brakes, Rudy was compared to Memo. Let's see if Rudy will tuck up in behind him. We'll just pan around just to see how far Dirk is. Dirk will be coming over the horizon shortly, so Dirk currently 2 seconds away from this battle. As the guys going into turn number 1 on lap number 17. Memo goes into turn number 1. Great exit there. See, pulling away from Rudy. He definitely had a much better line there. Into turn 3. Oh, Memo oversteers, touches inside the grass. That unfortunately allows Rudy to go past. Memo in the outfield there, trying to get back in. That will give Dirk the opportunity to move up a position. Here we chase Dirk going into turn number 1. Dirk's currently in 5th place. Ahead of him is, that's Rudy. Oh, unfortunately Rudy, he's lost it going into turn 1. I think there might have been a bit of a touch there. Dirk slowed down, giving that position back to Rudy. But here comes Memo. Memo having the momentum. Oh, he backs out. Doesn't take that position away from Dirk. Oh, a little overslide there, oversteer there for Memo. 4th, 5th and 6th. Down into turn number 5, hard on the brakes. Memo gets a great exit there from Dirk, but Dirk goes on the inside, sees Memo's not going there, moves out to take the faster outside line. Oh, that's Rudy. Oh, that's Memo. He's hit the back of Rudy. Fortunately, pushing Rudy off. You see that rear wing coming off. I definitely don't think there will be an incident report there. That was just very unfortunate. Rudy unfortunately losing it, coming back onto the track, getting that little nudge. Dirk, he's moved himself up into 4th place. Memo are in 5th. And unfortunately Rudy, he will fall back into 6th place. Memo hard on Dirk as they go into turn number 12. Only a couple of corners left. Through turn number 30. Whoa, Memo gets it up on 2 wheels. Manages to catch it as he prepares to go into turn number 14. Great X. Oh, unfortunately getting the rear on that curb as he accelerated, throwing him straight into that barrier. Quick little spin around to get himself back on track. I'm sure Memo was hoping you could get a faster exit. Oh, there we see Rudy in the background. No downforce. Our race winner, Colin, led from start to finish. Colin will come in 1st place. Roy will finish 2nd. Dirk will recover and come in 3rd. Memo, a very respectable 4th place, followed by Rudy in 5th. Shark will finish 6th with Dane coming in 7th place. Clive will finish 8th with Sean in 9th place, with Toki unfortunately retiring and not earning any points. So having a look at our driver standings after round number 1. Top of the leaderboard is Charles on 65 points, Marius is 2nd on 51, and Bruno is 3rd on 42 points. Definitely the driver of the day has gone to Colin, led from the start in Pool B, and he finds himself 6th on the overall standings. Both Morris and Ross will find themselves with a warning for that first corner incident, the stewards seeing it that it could have gone either way. If you're looking for more action, join us for the Sakita race on the 14th of June. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, yos.